Credit to Michigan State. I thought they played really hard. I thought their quarterback was magnificent while he was able to go. Disappointed in how the game ended with the last drive. Defensively, though, other than that, I thought we played really well. Held him under 100 yards rushing. He's a good player, and we knew he'd make some plays. Offensively, we were out of rhythm for a long, long time after that first drive. They made the decision to take the win in the third quarter, so we had it in the fourth. Big play, I thought, was the wheel route to Jacory to get us going at the end of the third, and then we had the win in the fourth. I planned on taking the ball to have the win in the fourth for a game-winning field goal, but they gave it to us anyway. So, probably a good decision by them. They scored 2 touchdowns with it, but we were able to win the game in the fourth. So, scored 38 points. Not the cleanest game we've ever had. So we'll try to get better.
Coach, you've kind of talked about these games are ones you like because you have things you can work on and get better at, but you ultimately get the win. Did that feel like that kind of game today? And
I think they're all going to be like that in the Big Ten. Did Penn State lose to UCLA?
Yes.
So, I know I say it and everyone kind of rolls their eyes at me, but this is what every week's going to be like in the Big Ten now, right? Like you're going all over the country. Every game's going to be a battle. There was the win obviously had somewhat of an effect on both teams today. You can see even the punt game, just the field position. Like we kept hanging the ball up and it was going 25 yards. Part of the reason why we went for the fake punt, I called the fake punt. That's not on Eck. That's on me. So I'll take responsibility for that. And thought we had a great shot at a big play, and just their kid made a nice play. So credit to them.
Outside the fake punt, the special teams today and what it was able to do and how it affected the game. How big of a factor has that been?
Yeah, and then we had the punt return. The other punt return for a touchdown. Unfortunately, came back, but we came out. We said we were going to block a punt. Credit to Jameer Khan. Like he prepared all week to block that punt. We told the team he's going to block the punt. We hope he blocks the punt. Hey, go block the punt. We said he's going to block the punt. He blocked the punt. Carter scored the touchdown. Should have scored again, the second one. So, and you know what? I don't care about the punt. If I'm being really honest with you guys, the punt fake was the right call. Like I'm saying, we're going to put the ball in our guys' hands with a chance to make plays. And we still even had him stopped on that drive. It was 4th and 4. We came unblocked. We trust our defense. And so we're not going to make our decisions based just on the results. We trust our players, and that's the biggest thing. That game right there, Sam, that was UCLA to me last year. That felt like it at the half. It felt like come on, guys. And you know what? They went after it. And, they didn't just sit back. We just kept battling and fighting. That's been my challenge to our guys. 60 minutes of us playing hard is going to be hard for teams to withstand. And in the end, it's basically a 17-point win. Think about that. We're losing at the end of the third quarter. We win by 17. Unfortunately, we gave the last drive. Sorry.
How hard was just the flow to manage just with the wind? I mean, you go from 9 minutes of the first quarter with the wind. You don't get the wind again until the fourth quarter. I mean, just to go that long and have to manage.
I think it was unique in that, you never want to make – so none of this is excuses. It's just the way it went, right? Like, we scored and then we blocked the punt. So, we went a long time without our offense, really playing. And so it was like, hey, we have to get in rhythm now. And then all of a sudden, we just couldn't get in rhythm. But then on the flip side, the same thing happened to them. We went down, we had a long touchdown drive, and then they hung the ball up in the air, and then they never scored again to the last drive. So, offense is so much rhythm. Like Dana, he kept trying to get in rhythm. Finally, they hit that big play on the wheel. And credit to Luke Lindenmeyer. He's supposed to pin the end. The end lined it up outside of him. Luke just turned out and blocked him. Dylan went up inside, and they – I was really proud of Dylan today. Early on there, I was kind of like, hey, hang in there. And he just he just kept getting angrier and angrier and finally exploded. But I think it was more like that, just long stretches without the ball and trying to get back out there. And that's what Michigan State does. They run the ball and they try to eat up clock. At one point, they were 2 of 10 or something, or 1 of 7 on third downs, but he was just making plays on the scrambles. And we sacked him a bunch of times. We probably would have sacked him way more if he wasn't so elusive.
Moment that you had the wheel route there, and that's right when Michigan State had gone ahead for the first time. Do you feel like that's snapped something in your guys at all?
Well, we were my whole point was, hey, just get to the fourth quarter with the wind at our back, and we're just going to go win the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 9. We were kind of out of rhythm. We got him outside the pocket, and that was a great play design. We ran a similar play last week, that one that Isaiah caught that was, he unfortunately stepped out of bounds on, but it was a different play, and we just ran it off of that. And it was a game plan play that worked. And, I just feel like, at the end of the day, when you put the ball in Dylan's hands and Jacory Barney's hands, something good's probably going to happen. And, they found a way to make it happen. And then I think after that, obviously the kickoff it was beneficial. I wanted to get to the fourth quarter by kicking into the wind. They misfielded that ball. And, that was a 10-point swing, obviously.
How do you feel about just the pass rush? You hit Childs a lot today.
It looked like we were getting there. They had everything they could to slow you down. They were running the zone reads and stuff that slows you down because you're trying to play all that. But he just could have hit mute. He didn't have to run out. So it looked like we were getting there a lot, but again, our whole focus this week, our whole defensive focus was stop the run, no big plays to 1 and 6, and tackle 2. And so, they held them under 100 yards rushing. So I know we're not very good run defense, but we were today. and I mean that sincerely. We haven't been a good run defense. Well, today we were, and so that's a challenge to our guys. But then the quarterback, we didn't tackle the quarterback well enough. So I've said it on record many times. I love this team. Even at the end, Sierra, I was very positive, and then Sierra got up and he was furious about that last drive that we let that backup quarterback move the ball down the field. So they're hungry for more. But I don't want to minimize how good 2 is. I think he's excellent, and he's done that to everybody. Because because we stopped the run, it became more of a drop back type game and a movement game, and he was able to make plays. He's a good player.
You mentioned it earlier about growth about last year, kind of reminded you of last year. How much growth have you seen, and did this really prove that you're headed in the positive direction?
Yeah, we're not trying to prove anything to anybody. That's the biggest thing for us. Our guys have done a good job of blocking out everything. I mean, that's the second game in a row we've been booted home. Our guys are out there and they're mad. Dylan's yelling at the crowd. I'm like, don't yell at the crowd. They paid their money to come here, right? You know what I'm saying? They're paying $12 for a beer. You know what? It's part of the game. Go play well. When you're not playing well, go play well. And so we're not trying to prove anything. We're trying to play good football, and it's really hard. The Big Ten is hard. And it's not we're not focused. They got good players too, and they game planned us too. And so, I think the biggest thing is we just keep hanging in there and playing. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think this is a game in previous years we would have lost, or not went the way it went. But we end up with a 17-point lead, and then we give up a touchdown. They're mad afterwards. So. I like the mindset and where it's headed. There's a ton of things we have to clean up. There's a ton of things we have to get better at. We are not a perfect team. We have to play around all of our things. But I also say we show up every week. Even when it's not perfect, our guys show up. Even the Iowa game last year, you can't say we didn't show up, right? So our guys show up every week since that UCLA game last year. And this was the first game that kind of felt sneaky like that, ugh. And even at halftime, the coaches kept saying, come on, did the defense. Come on, guys. I'm like, you need pep talks? They scored 7 points. We need a pep talk? What are we talking about here? So it's just growing. I thought John Butler was awesome today. On the headset, he was fiery. He was scary almost. The Philly in him came out. And I think a lot of our guys hunted and played well. So, like I said, this team scored a bunch of points again last week against USC. I mean, they're a good team.
Why did you guys decide to make the changes you did at offensive tackle, and how do you think it went?
I have to watch the film. I'd hate to comment on it because, there were some things there's some things today where it's probably on the quarterback. There's some things today it's probably on the wide in terms of a couple of the sacks. They brought a safety. We got I forget which sudden change it was. We got the ball and we took a shot at a big play touchdown, and the safety blitzed and the tailback didn't go back and block him. So it's just one of everybody in that kind of stretch where we were out of kilter. But it certainly didn't feel like last week. There were times it did, in the middle there. But once we kind of got in rhythm, I thought we were good. So anxious to watch the film. See how those guys played, but we love everybody. But it felt like, hey, this is we need Pritchett's size and strength, and he's been getting better and better and better. We have not played him to get him to grow, and he's grown, and so we felt like he's earned the right to play. And Gunnar and Teddy were ready at right tackle. We went with Gunnar for I think the whole game. So I'll see the tape. Sorry.
You mentioned Dylan and the frustration, and you said getting angry in the second and third quarter when it was sputtering offensively. Was he reacting the way that you would want him to react?
Yeah, I have to go back and look at everything because it's easy in the moment to be like, is he looking at the rush? Is this but maybe the in cut's not quite wide open, and he's protecting the ball and all those things. Even the interception in the third quarter was so reminiscent of the end of the game at UCLA. And if you guys remember the times I've talked to you about sitting in the cafeteria the one day in camp and sitting there with Dylan, him watching the UCLA game was on the Big Ten Network, and him being like, shoot, it's a 7-point game in the fourth quarter. And I said, yeah, bro, they're all going to come. Don't panic. And so I love what he did after that. I felt like there was a little time there in the middle where it was just kind of like, oh, what's happening? At some point, I want to see I want Dylan angry. I want in the moment locked in, but I want a fired up, blood in his eyes Dylan, because that's the best Dylan that there is, and the guys will fight for him. And but other than that, I can't say exactly how everything else went. You know what I'm saying, Mitch? There were so many things that were happening that was going fast. I'll have to watch the tape to really, really dissect some of the X and O stuff. But I thought the play. I'll go back one more time to the double post wheel to Ja'Cory. I thought that's the play that kind of ignited us and gave us a shot.
Sean Singleton, 2 interceptions and almost had a scoop and score. They called it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that ball was forward when they called it. Everyone was celebrating. I was like, second down, get ready. No, I'm so proud of Deshaun, and I hope everyone saw. This week we put out the thing about him and his brother. It's just so great when you see good people do good things. The guy takes his brother in, and I'm just, and his brother. Here his brother is. He's on our team. He's doing well in school. Like, you think about it, he went from getting shot at and fearing for his life to now he's a college student here, and so that's who Deshaun is, and so. I love him. I'm so happy to see him make plays on the ball. Butler was ripping him for not scoring, like he should have scored on those plays. But, and it was a credit to our pass rush. I mean, even those plays, he stepped up versus zone and was throwing the ball, and we were intercepting the ball. So I thought our pass rush really came alive this game. It looked like from where I was standing.
Was there a moment of just kind of joy when Hunter breaks free and the shoe comes off and you go get the shoe? And all that?
Yeah, well, and I ran out there because their kid went down, too. I was making sure he was okay. But, yeah, like, I just think, like, sometimes even our guys, they think like it all comes down like, let's call this play. Like, it's not. It's great players making plays, right? And so, like, Isaiah made that catch, and Lindenmeyer makes his block, and then the left guard or some of the center, I don't know who it was, makes their block. But then shoe comes off, and that's who Isaiah is, man. He's like, I've told you guys before, he's a tailback. He's in the '90s. He'd have been like an I formation tailback. Like, what I'm saying, like, that's who he is. He's a guy with the ball in his hands. He was hot today. Dana kept saying, like, we got to get the ball to Isaiah. We got to get the ball to Isaiah. So. Really happy to see him do that, and just the fast shoe came off, and he was ready to play. That was great.
How'd you feel for Carter Nelson getting a touchdown?
Yeah, happy for him. He just gets better and better and better. Happy for Jameer that he blocked that kick, and happy for Jameer's told a lot of stories to us about eating lifting in the student center at his last school, great school. No disrespect, but like coming to this facility, how grateful he is. And if you could see that moment, Dylan. I mean, if you see me, Dylan hit me, and I limped for the rest of the game. Like, but the joy on the entire team because how much they love Jameer, like how hard he practices, how hard he does everything. Like, just when you see a guy block a punt and Carter score a touchdown, the guys love Carter, they love Jameer, and how they all celebrated. I thought that was really great. And Carter did some other really good things in the game. Caught the screen. Unfortunately, we had a 15-yard on that play. All right, thanks.